Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about Celes, who is going to be getting her rework and her brand new FR/BT weapons. Now, not only that, but we also have Zidane and Thancred, who are also going to be getting a rework as well, even though I kind of feel like they tried with Zidane, but you know, we'll talk about that later on in the video. Yeah, we're going to be talking about pretty much like most of the characters within the upcoming banners as a part of the release of the next 6 Warrior Quest fight, and I'm gonna let you guys know if any of these characters are actually worth pulling for. So do let me know down in the comment section below what your plans are going to be for the upcoming banners. If you're going to be pulling for any of the characters that are going to be featured, do let me know down in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we'll first start off with Celes and her rework. So her skill 2 now deals 4 HP attacks that allows for 150% stolen max Brave Overflow. Her Brave Magic Absorb buff now increases the party except self magic brave damage resistor by 20%, now totaling 80%, and the stacks goes up by 1 when she receives a magic brave attack. Now her EX deals 7 HP attacks that now recovers 50% brave after each HP attack. Her Rune Knight buff adds a 10% party brave damage up, now totaling 30%, adds a 20% party brave gains up, and extends inflicted debuff duration by 2 turns. Her LD gains 1 use that now deals 4 HP damage, recovers 1 use of her skill 1 and skill 2, and her counterattack, which gets triggered with that debuff active on said enemy, deals 3 HP attacks with 50% splash damage. Now, with Bosch as her partner, Celes FR deals 3 HP attacks with 50% splash damage that inflicts the Magitech Ice Block debuff to all targets for 6 turns. Now, her FR conditions are as follows. A 5% increase whenever the teammate except for Celes uses an ice attack, and this also includes off-turn damage. A 25% increase whenever Celes uses an ice attack, and it also includes off-turn damage. A 20% increase whenever the teammate absorbs brave damage, and a 20% increase whenever Celes attacks an enemy targeting self. Now, with her BT+, it is now a 10-hit AoE Magic Brave plus an AoE HP attack 2 times that recovers 50% Brave after the first HP attack. Her BT effect lasts for 8 turns. Now her BT effect is as follows. It now makes it so that all enemies' Brave damage becomes Magic Brave damage. It also offers the party a 50% party Brave damage up, a 20% party HP damage up, a 20% party Brave gains up, a 30% party HP damage resist up, a 30% party HP damage cap up, and a 50% party Brave damage cap up. Now we're going to move on to Zidane, who got a very small rework. So his Booster 8+, which is his EX ability, gains an increase in Brave potency, and whenever attacking, it recovers 50% Brave in between HP attacks, and it also now deals 70% splash damage 2 times. His LD now allows for 200% stolen max Brave Overflow and recovers 50% Brave in between HP attacks. His overhead increases Brave by 10% of the HP damage dealt per turn. Now, with Thancred, his rework to his skill 1 gains 2 uses. It now deals 4 HP attacks with Brave potency increase. His skill 2 now deals 3 HP attacks with Brave potency increase. His EX, when used, increases EX recast gauge speed by 10%, and it no longer reduces the Ninki levels, which is his overhead. His Brave Attack plus Ninki now deals 2 HP attacks that now reduces the level 3 Ninki by 2 levels. Now his LD buff adds the following: a 40% attack and max Brave up, a 20% Brave damage up, a 50% stolen Brave damage up. Whenever Thancred is attacking a target inflicted with either poison, venom, or trick attack, it adds a 20% Brave and HP damage up. Whenever he is attacking a single target, he deals additional fixed HP damage by 20% of the current max Brave cap. And then finally, his trick attack debuff adds a 10% HP damage resist down now totaling 30%. So we're first going to start off with talking about the Zidane Banner, which does include Kadash and Waka and Celes's FR weapons. So when it comes to Kadash and Waka, some of the key things to note about them, Kadash does have okay debuffs, and like when it comes to like his debuffs, he is able to have gold framed debuffs, which is one thing to know. So it cannot be cleansed regardless of what the boss does, unless they decide to come out with a mechanic where they can actually cleanse gold frame debuffs, but they have not done that as of late. So in those debuffs though, it does have Brave Stab, it does have Attack Down, it does have Brave Damage Resist Down, and with his Fixation debuff, which is a stackable debuff, it does have, depending on the stacks that you have on that debuff, it does have like Defense Down, Attack Down, Melee Defense Down, Range Defense Down, and it also provides Kadash with a follow-up attack whenever it is at 5 out of 5. So overall, Kadash is not too bad of a character. He's alright in my opinion. I don't really think he's like necessary to have, unless like, let's say like you just want Kadash because he's like a favorite or something like that. But like, I don't really think he's like a character in my opinion, at least in this time in DFFOO. I don't really think he's a character that you should be really too concerned about. Waka needs some love badly, and I mean badly. Like his party auras, they're very mediocre. They're like the old school type of like party auras. They're nothing compared to like some of the party auras that we got going on right now. So it's not really anything to brag at all. His LD debuff, it is RNG based, and there are 3 different debuffs within said debuff, and it just really depends on which one it actually triggers, and it does change whenever the enemy does act. So like for example, for the 3 debuffs within this one debuff, I guess like the 3 effects for this debuff, one of them being the status effect, which is pretty much a Brave Damage resist down, Attack Down, Max Brave Down, Initial Brave Down, and Defense Down. And it also has HP Damage Resist Down. So like, you know, everybody in the party can pretty much like deal like additional like damage, and at the same time the enemy is getting hurt by said debuff. The other one is pretty much going to be like Setter's freeze ability, so they cannot gain any Brave, and it also has a built-in Brave Damage Resist Down and HP Damage Resist Down. And then the other one is going to be pretty much like a Confusion, which makes the enemy not act at all, and it also has a Brave and HP Damage Resist Down built into it. So it is a nice effect, don't get me wrong, but to play a little bit of RNG, it's kind of like, you know, to most players it's not really all that in my opinion. So Waka, in my opinion, is kind of just like thrown into this banner just for the heck of it, even though like his debuff can definitely be of some use for the next 6 warrior fight, but in my opinion it's not really like anything like that you like really need. Now with Zidane, I mean, his rework, I mean, what the hell was that? Like, was that even a rework? It really wasn't like a rework that I was expecting, or that many players was expecting. Like we was expecting something a little bit better, but you know, I guess we'll take it. It's something, I guess, right? I don't know. So Zidane, he is able to hit for weakness damage as long as you have his debuff, which is the Thief's Mark, if I'm not mistaken. Then Zidane will be able to deal weakness damage. He has the ability to delete turns, so his LD ability is able to delete the enemy turns. He also has a changed HP command after he uses his LD, which also gives him the ability to be able to delete turns. The one thing to note about that is very important to know about is that for Zidane to pretty much like delete set turns, he pretty much has to like break the enemy, and that's about it. And by the way, you can't delete turns. You cannot delete turns back to back. You pretty much have to let like Zidane have like a turn, or you could probably like C65, and then you'll be able to break the enemy, if I'm not mistaken, and then you'll be good to go. So his BT effect focuses on brave damage, increasing the brave damage, increasing said cap. The other few things to note about it is that whenever Zidane inflicts a debuff, he actually party HP heals, which is nice, and any excess heal is converted to brave, which is not too bad to have. And then whenever and the other thing is, whenever he does inflict a debuff, he also increases the party's brave gain to 100% of max max brave. So it's not a bad debuff whatsoever. Like, it's not a debuff, but like, it's not a bad like effect whatsoever. Like, it's nice that instead of just only focusing on increasing the brave damage or the brave damage cap, you know, so on and so forth, you know, like, he does have additional effects to it. So like, overall, he's a good damage dealer. Of course, he's not going to be like anything to brag about compared to like some of the damage dealers that we have had recently. I have seen JP players make Zidane work, and because Zidane definitely has his uses, in my opinion, especially with him not having any type of element attached to him. It definitely helps him out, and you know, he can definitely be an option for like certain fights and whatnot. And as long as the enemy is not like consistently cleansing debuffs, then Zidane will easily hit for weakness damage. So he's definitely an option if you are wanting a character like Zidane, or if you think that his kit sounds interesting. But like, really, to be honest with you guys, like, we already know who the main prize is going to be out of the upcoming banners that is about to get released. Now, the main banner, which is going to be Celes's banner, which includes her FR and BT weapons, also featuring Aiko's LD weapon and Thancred's LD weapon. So let's start off with those two. So Aiko, she provides HP regen, she deals holy damage, she does provide the party with holy enchant via her overhead, which is nice, and she does have the ability to revive based on whatever amount of stacks you have on her overhead. So let's say after you use the LD ability, you gain 3 stacks to her overhead. So whenever any of your teammates falls below 50% of their HP, or if anybody or everybody dies, that effect actually triggers and everybody gets revived, as if, like, you know, you are just like starting off the fight completely. So you're not gonna have, like, let's say if you had any like BT effects active or anything like that, you're not gonna have them when you get revived. It's pretty much gonna be like a straight up fresh start. So Aiko, yeah, it's a convenient ability to have, but I don't really think it's like necessary for like a brand new player that is trying to like clear content and whatnot, and maybe struggling in like, let's say like a Lufenia fight or something like that. Like, yeah, it can be convenient, but I don't really think it's necessary, especially with like the amount of characters that we have had as of late. I don't really think Aiko is honestly needed at this point in time. So I mean, maybe later down the line, whenever she gets an F4 and a BT, then maybe we can talk, but as of right now, nah, we're good. Thancred. So he becomes a bit more usable character, but like, he still has some flaws in my opinion, and it is definitely going to be based on his overhead and the fact that like it still consumes a, you know, like a good amount of stacks whenever you are using certain abilities. So like, the thing about it is that, like, you know, like what you're basically doing with not only his overhead but also with his LD buff is that you are constantly building up those stacks so that you can get like the best out of Thancred. You can get like skills that has like instant turn rate and whatnot, like let's say like his trick attack or his change brave command, you know, like examples like that, which does give him options to be able to deal additional damage on top of his skills and whatnot. But the thing is though, to be constantly over and over have to build up his stacks is not really, like, especially at this point in time and even later down the line, it's not really a thing that that a lot of players are not a fan of, in my opinion. Like, it's not really all that, and I really hope that later down the line, whenever they do consider giving him an F4 and a BT in JP, that they actually fix that issue to the point where like we really don't have to worry about stacks or building up stacks at all. Like, maybe his BT effect will make it so that his stacks does not drop at all. So like, Thancred, I mean, yeah, he can deal damage and everything like that. Like, you know, like, I think he does have the right amount of HP attacks within his skills, but like, he definitely gets outclassed. And the fact that you are still pretty much, even though they did reduce the amount of the stacks and all that good stuff with certain abilities, but not all of them, he still has to build up his stacks, and you have to use like his skill 1 and skill 2 to try to get up to the 5 stacks and whatnot. So it's not really like all that. I mean, like, yeah, there are which I believe is his EX ability, where you can actually like use like the plus version and whatnot for his his EX and whatnot. But the thing is though, like his regular EX ability does not consume his stacks, but his EX Plus does, which makes no sense at all, and I do not know why they did that. So Thancred, in my opinion, like yeah, like you can probably make some use of him, but like honestly, it's not really worth you know, it's not worth that burden at all. And then finally, the prize that a lot of players are probably going to be pulling for is going to be Celes. Celes definitely has some fantastic party auras, like with her BT effect, with her buffs and whatnot. The fact that she is able to provide offensive party auras, defensive party auras, and at the same time that BT effect what makes it so that all enemies brave damage becomes magic brave damage, and guess what, Celes is able to absorb that. And with her being a magical tank, I mean, the enemies are pretty much supporting Celes into not only allowing her to gain brave, but also that counterattack is going to help her out, and it's going to be very nice. And especially with her FR, like her FR and her BT complement each other so well, because like with her FR, whenever anybody on the team is using an ice ability, which Celes is able to party ice enchant, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about like using call abilities and whatnot. And it also includes off-turn triggers, so like you have Core, Kane, Yang, you know, the list can go on. Like it increases the HP damage bonus, and then whenever Celes counterattacks, it actually increases the HP damage bonus at a much higher percentage. And so like just in general though, like for what she actually offers, she definitely has a very strong kit now that she is getting her FR and her BT weapon. Is she worth pulling for, in my opinion? I would say yes. She is a very strong tank, especially if you are a fan of tanks and whatnot. She is definitely one to have. She can definitely have a good amount of uses, regardless of, you know, being locked behind the ice element. She can definitely serve you well, and the fact that she pretty much like mitigates the enemy's brave damage because like she is able to absorb it just makes it like all that powerful in my opinion. Like, and especially if we were able to make it so that the enemy was able to, the whole absorbing magic feature that she has, if that became like a party-wide thing, that would make Celes an extremely top-tier tank to have, which don't get me wrong, she is very much worth it in my opinion, but like, you know, just that tiny little tweak would have been so good in my opinion. So like Celes, she is definitely worth chasing for in my opinion. I definitely use the hell out of her just because like not only does she provide those defensive and offensive party auras and whatnot, but just the fact that I love my off-turn damage, and like with Celes, after the enemy attacks and whatnot, as long as they got that debuff active, Celes is going to counterattack. I'm gonna gain that HP damage bonus, and you know, it's just gonna be a fun day for me and not for the enemy. So but other than that though guys, that's pretty much gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. I'll catch you guys in the next one.